Hello, everyone. Little green screen today. What do you think? I'm actually not in New York or wherever this is. Can anybody tell me where this is? Is that New York? I think that is New York. So I'm not there. So it's green screen and just trying to give it a try for kicks, for fun, and yeah, just to see. So anyway, Aaron Stewart from the Little Black Couch. Thanks for joining me today. I did not go on. I did not go live on Friday for a lot of different reasons, and almost missed it here today due to some challenges. But we will get it. Oh dear, what have I done here? Oh, you know what? Watch this. Watch this, folks. Oh, what's that? That's good stuff, man. That's right there. So there's my name. So Aaron Stewart, Little Black Couch. Let's jump right in. I've got something to talk about. You'll see there in the title that the why matters. And some things that happened over the weekend brought this up to my mind. And I was able to think back about some pretty interesting stuff back in the days when I was able to travel around and meet with a lot of entrepreneurs worldwide. And there was something that was pretty fascinating during that time. So that's what I want to talk about. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. I do like that. Think bigger, right? I love that idea to think bigger. So thanks for joining me here today on a Monday. We've had quite the day. My daughter was gone for, almost 2 weeks. She was back in Atlanta and spent some time with my sister and her family, but then I also went up to do like a camp up in Independence, Missouri, which turned out to be really good for her. And it actually was an awesome experience. So we picked her up last Thursday. And yeah, the experience changed her a lot, and that's always fun to see when your children are changed by really cool experiences. And it turned out to be really great. And the whole time she was gone, we were watching a 14-month-old, our nephew. He was a cute little guy. I mean, I absolutely had forgotten how much work these little toddlers are. But man, what a breath of fresh air, and what a way to kind of get out and understand what giving to another human being should be about. I mean, there was really no way he could ever, repay us or whatever. He was just a little guy learning how to walk and learning how to say a few words, and so everything that we did came with, just no expectation of ever getting anything back. And what a neat way to live, honestly. I mean, I think I tapped into some ideas and things for probably future lives. But when we go into doing something when we expect nothing in return, it is a much more pure, effort, gift that way. So there's definitely a mindset change that needs to happen for me. And I've been thinking about that and working on that. So that will be an upcoming live, I am sure, as I sort of filter through and get an idea of what that's all about. But so we were busy, but it was a good busy. And once we figured out each little person has their own set of instructions, and they don't send that home with you from the hospital, which was terrifying for our first child. And had he known just how bad it was going to be, I don't think he would have wanted to leave with us. But anyway, definitely our baby has had a much better childhood because we kind of figured some things out along the way. But this little guy, when we got him, the first couple days were pretty tough because we didn't know what he wanted. We didn't know what his expectations were. We didn't know what he liked to eat and what he didn't like to eat. And the instructions that we had received were not really working out very well. The stuff that we tried, I don't know if it's because he was in a new space or whatever, but he didn't like anything that we tried to give him that we had been told he would love. By my sister-in-law, we just kind of had to figure it out for ourselves, and it turned out okay. I mean, we have figured it out eventually. We're all pros at this. So And it was fun. We had a lot of fun with that little guy. So, but as we took him back on Saturday, and then we had our daughter, and it was just our quiet little house again. We had some time to discuss and think about things, and it was during one of those discussions that a memory came back to me of a time in my life when I traveled quite a bit, and we were talking to her, trying to figure out. At least I was trying to figure out if something had changed in her motivations. You know, if maybe her why had changed a bit. Like, why was certain things more important or less important to her based on her experience at this particular camp, we'll call it. And it was, it got my mind going. And even after we finished our discussion, I continued to think upon it. And remembered back to, so there was a time in my life where I traveled quite a bit. I was responsible for essentially 56 different distributors and that covered, some distributors covered multiple countries, but we're talking 50, well actually I think it was 56 countries and maybe covered by 50 distributors. And I hope that's not a spider up there. Ah. Anyway, I've got my eye on him, though, in case it is, right? He gets any closer, and all heck's going to break loose around here. Not a big spider fan. Anyway, I mean, did it sound like I said Spider-Man? I like Spider-Man. I'm just not a spider fan, right? Anyway, so we got people coming in and out. Anyway, where was I? So when I was working and traveling around, I got to meet with a lot of these distributors who were independent contractor, essentially. And we kind of gave them prices that they could sell their product for, and they would run out and sell at that price, and then we would give a commission based on the price that we were able to get back from them. So the higher the price they negotiated, the better the commission they would get. And that was a way to just sort of motivate them. But they were, there was a few that worked for a larger distribution company, but most of them, especially in the smaller countries, were just independent contractors, just out there beating the bushes and trying to make a living. And as I traveled around and got to hang out with them, it was usually just the two of us, and sometimes they spoke pretty good English and sometimes they didn't. We would just sort of make do. But I always liked to ask them one particular question. When we were traveling around, we had a lot of time in the car sometimes, or on trains or whatever, as we went from customer to customer to meet them or take them to lunch or whatever it was that we were doing. So I had a lot of time to ask them questions, and most of that was spent, honestly, about their families and trying to get to know them a little bit and build that rapport, that relationship. So when I got back here to the States, that relationship was in place. It made it a lot easier for me to communicate, negotiate, ask for favors, ask for them to deal with certain customers that were giving us problems, you know, that sort of thing. So I always tried to work on that relationship, and always liked to learn from locals about their country and what they felt was important about their country and frankly what wasn't, what disappointed them about their countries. And that was always a fascinating discussion as well. But the thing that probably is most interesting to me now, and a question that I asked everybody, was, why do you do this? You know, why do you sell gilsonite? This crazy, nasty, dirty hydrocarbon that can only go into asphalt, ink, and marine-based paints. I mean, marine, you know, black-colored paints for, you know, marine applications. Why would you go into something like this? And it was always interesting to hear what they responded with. And there actually was basically two schools of thought in all this. There were the guys that would say, I need to make a living, right, for the money. I got to work somehow. You know, I need the freedom. I wanted the freedom. I wanted the opportunity to do my own thing. I mean, they say whatever. And then there was a group of people, a much smaller group of people. One guy in particular in Romania that I remember, asking him. But there was, you know, probably 3 or 4 out of the 50 that responded this way. And they said, because I love it. It's so great to go out and meet people, and I love ink and asphalt and paint. I just think the whole industry is fascinating, and I love it. And they were arguably our top producers, not necessarily in, you know, when you had the large distribution companies, they would always sell a lot more because they had more contracts. But sort of a per person those people that loved what they do were always far more successful in selling our product than anybody else was, and their clients were always happier. They were out there because they loved it, so they loved to reach out to the clients. They loved to make sure that their clients were happy. They loved talking about the different applications, so they would visit their clients more often. It was just a totally different situation. So anything that you go into, and this is kind of what the why matters. Because it doesn't matter. I've been writing a chapter for a book that's hopefully coming out here pretty soon on overcoming overcoming challenges and being an entrepreneur. And so I've got my chapter done. It's with the editors right now. And a lot of what depends on whether you're successful or not is how good we are at and how much we enjoy what we do. That can get us through a lot of the silliness of being an entrepreneur. You have to wear so many different hats. There's so many different responsibilities. It can get rather frustrating, right? The to-do list is always going to be about 50 items, and there's just nothing you can do about it. There's not enough time in the day to get everything done that you need to get done. And you have to learn to be sort of comfortable with that and not let it get you down and stay focused and frustrated. And that's kind of what the chapter's about. And I don't want to give the chapter away right now anyway. But I noticed with these individuals who loved what they do, did it the best. So when we're looking for opportunities, there's a big push in the industry right now where people are saying, hey, don't try to come up with a new product. Don't try to do anything yourself. Don't try to, whatever. Go out and see what the market wants, and then, give the market what it wants. Well, that's a good idea. I can see that's a great way to make money in a big hurry, but it may not be what you're passionate doing. Okay, so if you wanted to use that strategy as a short-term strategy, that's great. But as a long-term strategy, it's not a good one. It's not a great one. You really have to figure out something that you're passionate about and that you love in order to get you through a lot of the sludge that comes with being an entrepreneur and trying to build a successful business. There's a lot of garbage that you have to deal with regulations and taxes, and you have to have insurance on this and insurance for that company, and you have to make sure all the contracts are signed. And there's just a bunch of stuff that just makes it awful, right? Having your own business. There's just a lot of things that are not fun, and they really have nothing to do with what you want to be doing anyway. But those things have to get done, and if you don't have enough passion in what you're trying to do, that stuff can really bring you down and make it so you have a tough day, unless you learn to live a different way, which is, again, topic of the book, so we'll leave that alone. But that's it. So make sure that you're looking for passion. I have no problem with the people that decide they want to be entrepreneurs, and if there's something that they know how to do or enjoy to do, going out into what many are calling a red ocean, essentially, where there's a lot of competition and a lot of people buying, and try to figure out how to do it a slightly different way so you can take some clients from that. I think rarely will you find something that you can be super passionate about in that kind of a business. So you might go join a network marketing company, or you might get into affiliate sales. You might do some things like that. Well, if it's just the money that that's motivating you, that's not going to last long. I can promise you that eventually it's not going to be very fun. I have had companies that have made a lot of money that I hated to work on. And eventually got to the point where I didn't want to work with them. I'd rather not have the money and not deal with the headaches of these particular companies. And that's just a lesson learned. I will not do that again. So I'm trying to find things that I'm passionate about and that I enjoy. So I don't mind coming to work, and I enjoy being involved with the people that I'm working with and the product that you're selling and the service that you're providing. So that's a big part of it. And then making sure that when you take the day-to-day on, that you're doing it in a certain way where you can find great satisfaction and comfort in all the stuff that you're trying to get done. That's an important part. So ask yourself a question every time. When you have a new opportunity, ask yourself, is it for the money? Or is it because you absolutely just love whatever this product, service, opportunity represents? Because if it's this one, you got a better chance of this being a long-term solution. If it's this one and you need to pay the bills and you've got some taxes coming or whatever, okay, But don't sit here and look at this opportunity as the one that's going to be around for a long time. This one's temporary. This one's going to be hard to want to stick with, okay? So build this one up, sell it, do whatever you want, and try to find the one that you're passionate about, that you enjoy. So if you want to bide your time by doing something like this and then develop an affiliate program or join a network marketing company or resell somebody else's products, whatever it might be, great. Just to keep yourself afloat, but never stop looking for the thing that you absolutely are passionate about and that you love doing. And when you can find that thing, then you can go out and figure out where the market is and where the clients might be and make something work from there. So maybe use this part of it, right? The money as a safety net, but realize that money isn't going to give you passion. Eventually, you realize money can't buy a whole lot of anything that you really want and really need in life. It can just buy you stuff that makes your life much more comfortable and convenient, but it can't buy you happiness. And that's one of the most depressing things that I think successful people come to realize, that money didn't buy them what they always thought that it would, and it's a major disappointment. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about over the weekend. Thank you for joining me today here on the Little Black Couch. I did want to bring Buddy in for a little bit. I didn't really have a new sort of emoji for him, but I just wanted to show you this emoji. This emoji to me represents Buddy perfectly. I'm not exactly sure what the emotion is of this emoji, and if somebody knows, I'd be happy to know. But when I think of Buddy and his personality, that's what I think of. When he's like watching me try to work and get things done, he's always trying to figure out what I'm working on, or what I've gotten myself into, or how I'm going to work myself out of something. That's the emoji that I picture for Buddy. If that helps anybody feel more comfortable with him, then that's really what I'm looking to do. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great week. It's Monday. Here we go, and we're gonna get it going. Let's celebrate. I still love that. That's just fantastic. So let's celebrate, and please remember,
we just want you to know,
as a mate,
you're amazing.
you're the bomb.com, bro.
Thank you
so
for
much.
that clarity.
Cheers, man.
all right, hope you got some clarity from today. Make sure that you're doing something that you are passionate about and that you love. And if you aren't doing that, then make sure that whatever you're doing, you realize it's temporary. And eventually you are going to move away from that and do something else. Hopefully that you will find the thing that you're passionate about, and that will become your life pursuit. It will be much, much more enjoyable a life, I can promise you. Till next time, Aaron Stewart saying, be good and do well. Thanks.